Well, good evening, greetings, and salutations. This is Passionate Bliss, and I want to tell you about my walk through the YouTube streets. So, I was walking through the YouTube streets, and I saw that some of my neighbors were gathered around and they were talking. And it was happening like for several days in a row. So, I finally stopped to listen to see what was happening. Okay, so apparently there's a young rapper who has been in the news. His name is Dababy. I did a video on Dababy over a year ago. It was when he was being criticized in the press because he slapped a young woman unconscious in the audience on his way up because she accidentally bumped his face with her camera while she was trying to take a picture of him. So he slapped her. She became unconscious, and his audience saw it and they booed him. And I don't believe that he actually performed that night because he got booed off stage by the people who were there because they saw him slap the young black woman unconscious. Okay. So apparently he's back in the news again, being criticized again because of some things that he said at his concert. What he said was this. At the end of his concert in Miami, I believe it was, he said he wanted to give a shout out to the men who are not out here dying of AIDS and HIV. He said that he wanted to give a shout out to the guys who are not sucking dicks in parking lots. And his DJ said he wanted to give a shout out one time for real niggas, because some of you all are suspects, okay? So, of course, he's being dragged on the internet. It's been going on for days. I thought it would settle down. I wasn't even going to speak on it. But it's been going on for days. And he's made an apology that, of course, he doesn't mean because he has lost several endorsements. Elton John has come out and spoken against what he said. And also another white entertainer that he made a song with came out and spoke against what he said. And so he started losing the white people's money. So he came back and made a half-baked apology that the people were not satisfied with when they got it, because he said he made some comments that were, insensitive, and he could see people with HIV and AIDS, being upset, and he wanted to apologize to them. But he said the gay people, y'all can step off. He ain't worrying about y'all. Keep y'all money in your pocket. So he actually wasn't afraid of the gay community, which most people are actually afraid of the gay community to say anything to him because everything you say to them is homophobic, and they want to drag you and come for you. And they are a powerful force to deal with when they work together, and they work together very well because they've had to when they were in the closet. All they had was each other. And so they have learned over time how to work together well. And they vote as a unit, they act as a unit, they boycott as a unit, and they become a very powerful force to, they can make you homophobic even when you're not. So Dababy found this out firsthand because they came for him and they came for his white dollars. So he had to come out and at least make the apology about HIV and AIDS. A lot of those people, they didn't ask for it. They were given to it unbeknownst to them. Some people were born with it. Some people, got it through transfusions. They weren't necessarily being homosexual. However, HIV and AIDS has become synonymous with being gay because that where it was predominantly starting out was in the gay community. And that stigma has stuck to them, even though now the heterosexual community is the highest growing rate of HIV. And the city he was in, Miami, has one of the highest rates of HIV and AIDS in the country. So that's kind of ironic to me that he would be on that stage saying he wanted to give a shout out one time for not dying of HIV and AIDS. And it's no longer a death sentence, actually. He wanted to give a shout out one time for the guys not caught sucking dicks in parking lots. And I wanted to let Dababy know, because apparently he has not learned his lesson, that this all happened to you, Dababy, because you have not learned, and you're young, so you will learn. You have not learned to be man enough to address an individual head on. Be man enough to come to somebody man to man and say what you want to say, because that is very specific to say sucking dick in parking lots. So clearly, I don't need to put my glasses on to be able to see that somebody that he didn't care for, that he wanted to shade, was caught sucking a dick in a parking lot. Okay. And maybe he found out the person has HIV or AIDS, or it's one of his friends or somebody got HIV or AIDS and he believes dying of it. And so he wanted to shade that person. So instead of him going to that one person, man to man, and say, hey, yo, man, heard you was caught sucking dick in the parking lot. That's why you got the HIV and the AIDS. Instead of him insulting one person whom he may never have had to apologize to at all, he goes on and he throws these subliminals at the end of a concert. And the thing about throwing subliminals is that dart you threw is going to hit people that you didn't intend for it to hit. Okay? So, and that's what happened to Dababy in this case. Yeah, apparently there was one person he wanted to shave because that's very specific. And instead of him going to him and, saying what he had to say to that person, if he had to say it, that's not anything he had to say. But if you couldn't resist, because sometimes we all get a little devilish and we can't resist saying stuff that we had no business saying. If you just said that to one person, then your word against his. You may have never had to apologize at all. And or even address it at all. And so, because you were not man enough to stand up behind what you wanted to say, and you threw out a subliminal, okay, threw out these random darts, you hit people you didn't intend to hit, and you had to pay for it, actually, literally, in your pocket, and then you had to come out and apologize for it. An apology you clearly didn't mean. If you were sorry, you would have never said it in the first place, and that's why your apology was half-baked anyway, okay? And so, this is when subliminals goes wrong. This is when you don't put an address on it, as they like to say today. When you don't face somebody head on and say what you got to say. Stand up in what you want to say or don't say it, okay? Especially not publicly. Now you have, and the reason I wanted to address it to Dababy was because I don't know why he didn't learn from his girlfriend or his baby mama, allegedly, Yellowbone, okay? Because this happened to her not even maybe 9 or 10 months ago, where she's this white Spanish woman, I guess, who was dating Dababy, and she felt like she had taken him from his baby mama, who's a dark-skinned black woman, okay? And so she goes and makes a song called Yellowbone, That's What He Wants. She makes a video for it and all. And she incurs the wrath of the entire black internet, because colorism is an issue in our community. It is a painful issue in our community. And instead of her just going to his baby mama and say, hey, you black bee, or hey, your black self, I took your man. I guess he liked light skin after all. All she had to do was insult one woman to her face, okay? But instead she goes and makes a song and insults all of them. And she has to come back in a few days and make an apology that she didn't mean. First she tried to double down on what she said, and then she had to come back. She finally got a call from her management and told her she had to apologize. And so she did. And so Dababy didn't learn that lesson from his baby mama scenario. And so that's why I came on today to let Dababy know. Because you didn't learn it twice, so I'm going to tell you. If you're not going to stand up in it, then don't say it. It's where I'm from. If we have something to say to you, we say it to your face. Now, I might say it behind your back first, but if you call me on it, I'm going to say, yeah, I said that. That's exactly what I said. What it is, and so where I'm from, we do that, and so I'm used to doing that. But maybe where you're from, they don't do that. They throw out subliminals, they don't put addresses on stuff, and they send all this kind of stuff out in the universe, and everybody that you didn't even think about got mad about it, and now you're in all this hot water, you're losing money out of the bank, okay? So there's that lesson for you, okay? The other side piece I wanted to address on that, and this is getting longer than I wanted it to get, was that the gay community, like I said, they came out like gangbusters, like they always do. They took ownership of the HIV aspect of it because it has been synonymous, the stigma, with being gay. That's where it started, actually, heavily in that community. And it's still stuck with them, even though they're no longer the ones bearing the brunt of it. So, they took on that issue. And a lot of the gay bloggers and gay celebrities has things to say about it. Even colorist Chris Brown opened his drug-sunken mouth to say, shut up, thank the people, and go home. Now, he had to take it down because he's in no position to talk to anybody and tell people what to be saying, okay? Because he never apologized to the dark-skinned black women that he insulted by saying that he only likes the light-skinned one with the good hair, okay? So, Chris Brown, you need to shut up and sit down. T.I. came out and said something. He said basically that he can say what he want to say. Lil Nas X can say what he want to say. Boosie came out and said he can say what he want to say too, essentially. And I agree. This is a free country. We still have freedom of speech. However, you will also have to address the consequences of what you have said, which is what Dababy did. Dababy had every right to say that. If he wanted to, that was his mic, his concert. He could say it if he wanted to. And he really didn't have an issue with what he said. He still don't, even though he made an apology that everybody knows he didn't mean. All right, but it was his right to say that. Now, I've also heard gay bloggers say, and that's why they don't stand up for toxic black masculinity. That's why they don't get out in the street and march when black men like George Floyd and all the others get shot or get killed or get hurt. Police brutality, they don't march for it because straight black men don't march for them. Okay? And so, if that's the mentality that you're going to adopt, then black women, who are some of the biggest fan bases for these gay bloggers, we could have had the same attitude when Dababy was being criticized and dragged for slapping a black woman unconscious. Nobody got in an uproar about that. Okay, Dababy has killed a man before in Walmart, but he was found innocent. Okay, no uproar about that. Dababy beat up an elderly white man whose home he was renting because the man came over there to tell him not to have a large crowd there. Okay, a party, which he said he wasn't going to have. And then what else did he do recently? He was in a shootout at the beach, I think, and had to address some charges for that. Nobody was in an uproar about any of that stuff. Okay. In fact, TS Madison, who I'll go ahead and call out by name, she made a joke about the situation with the young black woman who got slapped unconscious. She even simulated masturbating to Dababy's apology to that young woman. And she said that meant he had good dick because of the way he apologized for slapping that woman. It was hilarious at the time when it was her. When it wasn't her. It wasn't her community. It was hilarious, you know. But now that it's the gay community, it's not hilarious anymore. So I was waiting for a joke to come out, but apparently it was not funny when it's you. Okay. So if black women have that attitude that you all have, you say you can't support black men when they get brutalized because they don't support you, and Dababy is the evidence of it. Okay. So then how would that be for you if black women decide, oh, we don't want to support you. We don't care what Dababy said. You didn't care about it when it was black women, so we don't care about it now that it's gay people. Okay, so how would that be if black women took that same attitude? So that's just a question that I had. And I think that's all the turns or thoughts that I had on the matter. What are your thoughts on the matter? Okay, let me know, comment below. Stop by my online store, mypassionatebliss.myshopify.com. Get a Black Love t-shirt. And with that being said, y'all have sweet dreams. Wait to find them all real.